So to see the Knicks go out there and keep it competitive late in the game is all I can ask for as a Knicks fan that is trying to see the team develop and to see our core blossom. And if Julius Randle is going to be the star of the team, quote unquote, at least let's see some development and some gains from our younger core. Hey, what's going on? Quis here from Sports Vibes TV. And in this video, I just want to give my thoughts on the recent loss the Knicks were handed by the Brooklyn Nets. Now, the Knicks lost 116 to 109. And this loss, I'm not going to be as critical as I was in some of the other losses during this losing streak. Now, in the beginning of this season, I said I understand the Knicks aren't the most talented team, but I said we have enough talent to be competitive. I know there were some moments in the game where the team looked bad defensively. And I also know you're going to say this was the Brooklyn Nets without Kyrie, without Harden, who they just acquired via trade. But if you watched the game, you understand they still had Kevin Durant. And the New York Knicks at this moment don't have anybody to really counter when you go up against a player of Kevin Durant's caliber. So for us to be competitive and force the Brooklyn Nets at the end of that game to put Kevin Durant back in just to make sure that things wouldn't get too sketchy towards the end, I got to have I'm proud of my team for at least competing and not giving up. We've seen multiple times throughout this losing streak where the team has kind of let go of the rope at the end of games. And in this game, that wasn't the case. And for them, and for that, I have to give them credit because they could have very easily have just said, okay, this is just going to be the game where we don't have any chance to win. The Nets were hitting their shots. And at moments, the Knicks were finding trouble trying to get trying to find baskets. And they manned up. Tibbs put Austin Rivers in. Austin Rivers hit two big threes down at the end just to get it close and to make it a lot more competitive. Because if you watch the game, for the most part, the Nets were up 20. And I personally thought this was going to end in a blowout. But I continue watching, and I was hoping Tibbs would do something to kind of give us a spark. And he did. Emmanuel quickly got a little bit more playing time, even though I think he should have more. Kevin Knox played good as well. Both of those guys, I think, really were the bright spots in this game. I know Julius Randle went off for 30, but when it comes to our core players, we had a lot of contributions from Quickley and Kevin Knox. And for that's what I'm trying to see game after game. I'm trying to see contributions from some of these young guys who we don't know what we have. Emmanuel Quickley, looking at the box score. Emmanuel Quickley, he got out of that shooting slump. He went 7 for 15. He went 2 of 4. No, he went 3 of 6 from 3. He had 19 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. And what I saw from Quickley in this game, I also saw him break down a defender off the dribble, attack the basket, score, and get an and one. Now, unfortunately, he didn't convert the extra free throw, but that is a part of his game he hasn't shown before. So now that we see he does have the ability to do that, can we see some more of that? Can he start doing some more of that with higher success and a little bit more frequency? Also, he finally got his shot to drop. I think during the game they said he was in a 2 for 24 shooting slump. He went 3 for 6, 7 for 15. That's a very good shooting performance from a guard. And if he can keep that up, he's going to force Tibbs to give him some more playing time. And I like when Quickley shares the court with Kevin Knox. The two of them, they have some chemistry, I believe, on the court. And Kevin Knox himself, he had a good game. Kevin Knox, he went 5 or 6 from the field goal, from the field, 2 or 3 from 3, and he had 13 points and 2 rebounds. I would like to have seen a little bit more assists from Kevin Knox, but, beggars can't be choosers. At least he's starting to find himself a little bit more in the offense. And in my last video, I was questioning, is Kevin Knox just going to be a spot up shooter for the Knicks? But in this game, there was a moment where he actually got to the basket and he was able to finish, similar to what I said about Quickly. So the fact that we're seeing both of these players be able to do that, will Tibbs be able to incorporate that a little bit more in the offense, seeing that we found some success against the Nets? And I know the Nets aren't a great defensive team, but those are NBA players. Those are players that a lot of them played in the bubble last year. So those are NBA quality players, and that's going to be their team. That's going to be their depth for the remaining portion of the season, unless they get some veterans that are waived and signed for the minimum. So to see the Knicks go out there and keep it competitive late in the game is all I can ask for as a Knicks fan that is trying to see the team develop and to see our core blossom. And if Julius Randle is going to be the star of the team, quote unquote, at least let's see some development and some gains from our younger core. RJ Barrett, he also had a good game. He had a much better shooting percentage. I think he went 7 for 15 as well. He went 1 for 4 from 3. So he was still struggling a little bit from there, but he still got one to go down. And that's good. He should have went 1 for 3 in my honest opinion. There was a 3 that he shouldn't have taken, but he took it. You're going to have to deal with it. But for him to go out there and drop 20 and shoot a pretty efficient percentage, to me, that's a good sign as well. So we saw 4 players from our core eclipse double-digit points. That's going to be Quickly, who I mentioned earlier, Knox, RJ, and also Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson, there was some moments that I didn't like. He got bodied by DeAndre Jordan and dunked on one play. But outside of that, he was active at the basket. He was grabbing offensive rebounds and getting putbacks. And he had a couple nice blocks. Did he have a couple? I think he had 1 or 2 blocks. Yeah, he had 2 blocks that were pretty nice. One of them was disrespectful, swatted it out of bounds. I think they ended up recovering it, though. But he had a good game as well. Mitchell Robinson is the one Knick that I've seen steady development time and time again. So to see Mitch budding and to see a game where RJ, IQ, and Kevin Knox all perform pretty good, I'm happy with that. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm happy with a loss, but I told you guys from the beginning of the season, I didn't come here expecting the team to have the greatest win-loss record. What this season was supposed to be about was developing our young core and showing the NBA that we have a respectful, well-run organization now, and that we aren't going to be the laughingstock of the league, and we're going to fight and we're going to protect home court. Now, is this the ideal way to protect home court? I don't want to be losing 116 and 109 and saying that's protecting home court. I would like protecting home court to be making sure nobody comes in and catches an easy dub, which is exactly what we did in this game. We made sure it wasn't easy, and we forced Kevin Durant to come back into the game. And as a team with limits on what we can do offensively based on the talent we have on the team, I'm fine with that being protect home court. I'm tired of us getting blown out in these games, and that needs to stop. And to see Tibbs continue to keep the starters out there and make sure that the game really didn't get too far out of hand and force the Nets to bring back KD, I'm happy with that decision. I see other people saying they weren't too happy with Tibbs not going deeper into the bench. What I am not happy with is the fact that Obi only played 1 minute. That was crazy. I still got to figure out why he only played 1 minute. He really didn't even have that much time on the court to make a mistake. He was on the court for like 2 possessions, and one of them I think was a fast break, and he didn't really get back to my liking. So I guess Tibbs pulled him in and put him back in the game. Hopefully that was the reason and he didn't tweak anything or something like that. But, the team is heading in a direction that I would like if they were to continue to perform to this level. If Julius Randle is going to score 30, And you're still going to see RJ get his. You're still going to see IQ, Kevin Knox, and you're still going to see Mitchell Robinson have decent games, then that I can live with. But I can't do us getting smoked by 20, 25 points night after night. This team has to continue showing heart, and even when it's not their night, the shots aren't necessarily falling. Even though we didn't shoot terrible this game, I think we shot almost 40% from three. We shot 39.3%, and then from the field goal line, we shot 47.8%. So another game that we lose in which we don't eclipse 50% shooting. So let me know what you, well, no, before I even end this, Elfrid Payton got to hit the bench. Like, at this point, he has to hit the bench. He's out there bricklaying. You know, he don't have his brick buddy in RJ anymore. RJ at least made his shots today. This one was squarely on Payton bricking by himself. But well, no, he had a new brick buddy, and that was Austin Rivers. It's like we can't get a game where everybody just has a decent shooting night. It's always two of the guards that just, for some reason, can't get the ball in the basket. So this time it was Austin Rivers. Both of them only made 3 shots, but Payton took 11 shots and Austin Rivers took 10. Elfrid Payton got to hit the bench. I don't know who you guys would want to substitute, but me personally, I wouldn't mind if IQ started. I've been saying that time and time again. We need to know what we have in IQ. Is he going to be serviceable as a starting point guard? I think he can hold down that mantle for this season. He's the best option. And then next offseason, maybe we can go in and bring in a point guard that can kind of allow IQ to move off ball. And then we can start being a little bit more creative with him on offense. But until then, I think IQ is still the best option, either him or Austin Rivers. So let me know what you think about the game down in the comments. Once again, I'm Quis, host of Sports Vibes TV, and I'm out.
Stress.